Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's my guy knows a guy on the Frenzy Sports YouTube channel, the Sports Predictions channel. How's it going? Coming off of a big win for the Toronto Raptors against the Atlanta Hawks last night. It got pretty close at times. It was a really exciting game. Trey Young, Kevin Herter, DeAndre Hunter, these guys came to play, but the Raptors, just their tenacity shined. It shined yesterday. Clinched a playoff berth. It's a great time to be a Raptors fan. No, I'm wearing a Bulls hat, but no Bulls picks today. Just want to say that if you guys can't hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, if you're not subscribed, if you're watching on Twitter, this is the NBA Betting Today live stream. Another schedule today, not the most, not another NBA schedule. We're hitting the home stretch. A lot of stuff has been made clear, but there's still so many questions to answer, particularly with seeding. Most teams know that they're going. Every team knows their postseason fate now, but we just don't know who's going to play who. You're going to see some politics, some jockeying, some posturing in the standings over these last couple of days. Let's try to enjoy, even some of the games. Hey, some of the teams that are going on vacation, we're not going to see them for a really, really long time because of their tanking efforts. So, yeah, we have the Dallas Mavericks playing against the Detroit Pistons, the Brooklyn Nets going up against the Knicks, the Wizards against the Hawks. We've got the Celtics against the Bulls, OKC Thunder against the Jazz, and the Suns against the Clippers. A couple of these games will probably end up being a bit interesting. Some of these are mislabeled. They've actually been upgraded to probable. Some big injury news just at the beginning. Zach LaVine, from what I've seen, is probable. I've seen questionable in some places, but I believe he's probable. Last night was an injury maintenance sort of game. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are also probable. They've been upgraded to probable. We have Seth Curry. Seth Curry for the Nets may be returning for the Brooklyn Nets today against the New York Knicks. This is a Nets team that, technically the seventh seed is still in reach, where they will get to play, a potential second playing game at home if they were to lose the first one. But they still have some stuff to play for at the seventh seed. Where they can possibly avoid who ends up being the number one seed. It's just going to be kind of interesting to see what happens at the top of the standings in the Eastern Conference. That's where a lot of the attention in the NBA media lies right now in the Eastern Conference. That's where the action is. The Celtics, they can finish as high as first place in the East, and they could fall as low as fifth. They could fall as low as fifth. So there's still a lot, I would say, to play for. Some of these teams, maybe they don't mind dropping down a bit as long as they can secure a top four seed, and try to give themselves a better chance of getting out of the first round. But it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this plays out. Some lopsided matchups today, but just about each of these games, let me just make sure. Yeah, just about each of these games has seeding implications. Okay. Not really too much to play for the Clippers and the Suns, but the rest of these games really do have playoff seeding implications. So we're going to get into the slate, just some of the notes I have on some of these games. And I actually have a prop that I really like that I'm going to play like right now. So we'll get to that as well. Let me just say hey to everyone in the chat. Angel, how's it going? Tyson, Clippers revenge spot. Suns resting. Yeah, the Suns, they reached a franchise record. They reached a franchise record in wins last night. It was a really, really interesting time for them because, they sort of shit the bed on the road in two games against undermanned opponents, and they come home. Maybe they had that intention to break that record, that franchise record at home. You never know, right? What's going on, Lotus? Hell yeah, appreciate it. If you guys can hit like. Let me know what you guys like for today as well in the NBA. Samizi. All right, so let me just get into some things about the Pistons and the Mavericks. Yeah, we have the Pistons and the Mavericks. We have the Mavs. They opened up at -10 last night. It dropped down to -8.5. It's 218.5 on the total. A pretty clean injury report, except for Maxi Kleber, who will be out today against the Detroit Pistons. This is a Detroit Pistons team. They're likely to get Cade Cunningham back today. I'm not sure if that's been reported in the last 30 minutes, but I know that he was likely to return today, or he's available to return today after being questionable yesterday. And this is going to be a pretty crazy game. The Mavericks, they can clinch a 50-win season. It does have value to them. They can, they still have a chance over these last couple of games to, clinch home court advantage as well. The Mavericks are not out of the running for any for home court advantage. They really want to secure home court advantage in the playoffs. It would be a big boost for this Mavericks team. Um, after being a lower seed against the Clippers, but we have a Mavs team. They got after they got crushed by the Wizards, they didn't look too good. I did say that they were going to perform pretty well, especially in the first half against the Bucks. They have been getting up for bigger opponents this season, but also they have the roster to really crush these guys today. It's just kind of difficult to bet on the Pistons because some things they move beyond just being a coincidence or just being a flash in the pan. They become real solid trends. This Pistons team has covered 18 out of 22 point spreads. So out of the last 22 games, they've covered 18 games. That's elite. That's elite money making performance by the Detroit Pistons. Really, since the All-Star break, they've caught a lot of teams slipping. Vegas has undervalued the Pistons continually. But this is a team in the Dallas Mavericks that they have a clamped down defense. If they're locked in and engaged, they can crush the Pistons in this game. That's why I'm just not going to play. There are conflicting trends in this game for me. The whole world's going to be on Luka, though. I'll tell you guys that right now. The whole world's going to be on Luka. Luka over on his points today. Just keep that in mind. Just track it to see whether or not it increases or not. But I'm not. I think there may be some wild stuff going on with Luka's points prop today. Just he's been putting on a show recently, right? But does he have to score 30 for them to crush the Pistons? You have to ask yourself that. Brian said he likes Celtics -6.5, -6. Yeah, I appreciate everyone that watched the live stream I did on the channel. If you guys have a chance, check that out. I did a live stream late last night, just talking about some of the games, some of the betting for today, a couple of players that I were targeting. The numbers didn't really hit where we were, what I was expecting. So that's really all I have to say about that. Saddiq Bey is coming off a huge game as well. It was against the Pacers, a team that doesn't have a defense, but the Pistons did win the game against the Pacers. They were favored for a reason on the road. Saddiq Bey, I thought for a second he was going for 50 points, dropped 31 on them. So this one's pretty tough for me. I'll just say that. This one's pretty tough on the spread. I'm going to move on to the Nets and the Knicks. This is actually a game in which I have my top prop. Even though I only bet a half unit on this prop, I bet it already. I bet it early. So I'll get into that right now. We have the Nets. We have the Knicks. All right, the Knicks don't have anything to play for but pride. They're developing young players now, something I was an advocate of them doing earlier in the season. The Knicks should have been developing their players further earlier in the season, especially their young core. A lot of their minutes were taken away from them by veterans, unnecessary veteran signings, I believe. So wasted season for the Knicks. But, this is a team in the Nets that can still get to the 7th seed. They can still get to the 7th seed. It's going to be tough, but the Cavaliers are falling enough and fast enough where it is still possible. You're hearing quotes from the locker room, Bruce Brown, Steve Nash, saying that they want the 7th seed. They can say that, but, they still have to play defense, right? I'm actually not picking anything on the spread in this game. The Nets right now, they're only a game ahead of the Charlotte Hornets for 10th, and it would be tough. They would lose in a tiebreaker with the Hornets. But in terms of matchups, I targeted Kevin Durant in this one. I believe that, on the second night of a back-to-back, he's already shown us enough of a sample size of him playing on the second night of back-to-backs where I can trust KD to get it done on the second night of a back-to-back, especially when they're trying to turn it on right before the playoffs. So I'm expecting they don't have anyone to guard him, especially one-on-one. It's going to be really, really difficult for the Knicks tonight, just with any coverages against KD, as it is for most nights, although he shot really, really poorly against the Rockets last night. I bet Kevin Durant over 28.5 points at a half a unit. I'll just put the half unit in there. It was -120 when I bet it. I bet half a unit on this bet. Kevin Durant, I believe he's going to score 30 tonight in the Garden. The Knicks just don't have the personnel. They don't have the defense. They're coming off of a couple of pretty impressive offensive performances from their younger core. It does bode well for them. They project well going into the future. But they have nothing for KD. KD is going to crush these guys today. I expect KD to give us a really efficient performance. 4 for 13 from the field last night. That's not the KD we know. KD's dropping 30 today. KD's dropping 30 today. But I've got him for over 28.5 at minus 120. And that's actually the only bet that I've placed at this juncture. So, yeah, I appreciate everyone in the chat as well. Appreciate you, Mark. Akbar, how's it going? My bro, Pete. Pete said he's got the Bulls. That one's tough. The Bulls haven't shown any. The Bulls haven't shown any ability to cover against top-notch opponents. It's just going to be whether or not Ime Udoka plays everyone about the 7.5. It's a pretty tough line on the road, but the Celtics really do have the quality to get it done. They could cover today against the Bulls. They're coming a second night of a back-to-back. It's going to be tough. The Bulls may keep the game under. The Celtics may keep this one under as well. Those are my early thoughts on that one. I'm going to come back to this one a bit later. Just want to make sure that all the Celtics players are playing. They're listed as probable, but we don't know what's really going on at the top of the Eastern Conference right now over the course of these last two games. So just be a bit careful. I think that I give the Celtics the edge early in the game as well, and their defense to maybe keep the game under. I didn't bet on those outcomes. I'm projecting a better game from Jason Tatum as well. Jason Tatum is going to have a better game tonight. You guys got to don't mind me right now. I'm a bit tired right now, everyone. So after this, I'm going to get a bit of rest. If you guys can, hit the like button and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And so Kevin Durant over 28.5 points, half a unit bet. Thoughts on the Atlanta Hawks game? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is projected to play in this game. No props were available for him just yet, although I'll check that right now because he's a player that I targeted for today on his three-pointer prop. I did say him yesterday at plus money. He didn't come through, but I also said Corey Kispert. He did come through. I actually didn't bet on any of them. I already had like 6 or 7 bets. So yesterday was pretty good. Let me show you guys what happened on the live stream. Pretty good day in the NBA yesterday. Let's keep it going. The playoffs are right around the corner. No props listed for me just yet on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but I'm monitoring whether or not he plays. They listed Corey Kispert early, Rui Hachimura early, Thomas Satoransky early. This is a props game for me, but it's a pretty difficult environment. I may only have one in it. I'm not going to force anything. The props market has actually been kind of volatile as of late, although we've had a pretty good stretch over the last 7 days with the props. So let me take that off the screen. I'm on another tab. Appreciate everyone watching the stream. Yeah, I'm waiting for markets in some of these other games as well. Only Paul George listed for the Clippers. That's because of the uncertainty. It's pretty widespread that the Suns, they may rest someone today. It's possible. You just look at the way the schedule has been laid out for them and the emotion of last night's game. Just wait and see the final lineups. Suns, Clippers, see who's listed, see who's in. And, the Clippers are still trying to remain in high form. They're in pretty good form overall, I'd say, just going into the playoffs. But, they still feel like they have a lot to prove. This Suns team over these last 2 games, let's see if it's their turn to rest somebody. Let's keep our eye on the injury report for the Suns today against the Clippers. I do have a couple of other players to target for the games today, so I'm going to do some research, discuss some stuff with the group as well. And, just see what's going on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at MyGuyKnowsAGuy. Subscribe to the channel, hit like on the video, and turn notifications on. We're rolling with KD today. Kevin Durant over 28.5 points against the New York Knicks. Let's go. I didn't bet the house, half-unit bet, but tomorrow's schedule looks decent as well. Have a couple of more things circled. Let's see how it goes. Best of luck to everybody. This is a pretty short stream, not the most enticing slate. This is the NBA Betting Today live stream on the Frenzy Sports YouTube channel. I'm getting ready for the Champions League match this afternoon, Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Just check me out on Twitter if I put anything out for that. Let's see what goes on in Europe for all the soccer bettors out there. And, going to announce some stuff about the channel as well, just some content-related stuff about the channel as well. So just keep an eye out for that. So let me know in the chat. Best of luck to everyone on your bets. See you next time.